One of Trump's allies said it could be the most important Oval Office address since the Cuban Missile Crisis. Others felt a sense of déjà vu. Trump, a president who's been gutting the White House, using it once again to undermine the very foundations of American democracy.
Our elections were left vulnerable to being rigged and stolen. There's no third world country that has elections like we have.
This time it was China he blamed for trying to meddle in the election he lost.
Raw intelligence obtained by the FBI in 2020, yet buried by rogue bureaucrats, stated that China's activities even included an attempt to manufacture illegal ballots for Joe Biden.
There were threats of retribution.
Today, I'm asking the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, the Department of Justice, the FBI, and the CIA to investigate how and why such crucial information was hidden, to fire those involved in the cover-up, and to file criminal charges if appropriate.
And threats too for broadcasters who, as they have during previous administrations, refused to interrupt programming for what they saw as an overtly political speech.
They and others in the media are part of a plot. Fraud like this should mean a revocation of their licenses.
He released a trove of declassified documents he said backed up his claims that America's voting system could not be trusted. You were up into the small hours reading these documents. What do they tell us that we don't already know?
There's not a whole lot that's new in them. I've been calling it declassification theater. State actors interfere in elections, and we have seen this happen quite visibly in 2016, in 2018, in 2020, 2022, 2024. So what you wind up seeing is the fact that there are influence operations that are being carried out does not mean that they're having impact. The intelligence assessments suggest that they were interested in shaping public opinion, and the efforts to shape public opinion appeared to largely fall flat.
Since the 2020 election, there have been recounts, audits, probes. Trump and his allies have lost several legal challenges to that result. In 2022, a group of conservatives investigated and found there was no steal. But that was then, and this is now, with Republican power brokers aware that diverging from Trump on what has almost become an obsession will cost them his support. See the verbal gymnastics of his pick for Director of National Intelligence, one of the most sensitive roles in government this week.
And who has the most electoral votes? Is it the person that wins or the person that loses?
I think that's your characterization. I'm not going to continue to do this.
Clayton's predecessor even broke protocol to go on an FBI raid of an election centre in Fulton County, Georgia, she said at Trump's request. The deadline for that investigation is today, July the 17th, with CBS reporting that 2 FBI analysts were fired this month for expressing concerns evidence was thin and that it was politically motivated. The Democrats see this all as an attempt to undermine the midterm elections in November that polls suggest will not go Trump's way. I wondered what you thought President Trump was trying to achieve with this primetime address.
Donald Trump and Republicans are trying to steal the midterm elections. Something's really wrong with this guy. I think he actually needs to be checked out. Why does he continue to focus on a conspiracy theory related to a 2020 presidential election that every rational person in the United States of America knows he lost?
Michael McConnell investigated Trump's claims about the 2020 election alongside Republican lawyers and lawmakers, finding it was lost, not stolen. How do you think the voters watching that will be reacting to this?
I suspect many Americans were just saying, well, where's the beef? I don't think there's any doubt we do have vulnerabilities in the system. It's a system that could be improved. But there's a difference between establishing vulnerabilities and finding that there's been a theft of an election.
This latest assault on the election system and the deep state he imagines is trying to corrupt it comes alongside Republican fears over an electoral hammering in November. However Trump decides to channel his anger through his government, his party and voters themselves will be borne out over the next few months.